Now it's time to rearrange it. You start watching it, and it's kind of like working a puzzle. You have to sort of figure out what's going to look best. So for instance, what I found out is the guitar shot and the bass shot are almost a little too similar. And I tried to make them as different as I could when I was filming, but I wasn't totally sure how this was going to come out. But as it turns out, they were too similar. So I realized it doesn't look good to cut from the guitar to the bass. In fact, I've got an example of that right here. So it's just kind of an awkward cut because the shots are too similar. So I kind of made it a rule. I tried my best to separate them. And sometimes it's like a puzzle. So for example, this section here, it starts with the drums. I knew I wanted to show the drums here. And then later, it's going to end with the drums before going into the chorus. So I've got two shots of the drums kind of sandwiching this section here. So all I can fit in there are bass, guitar, and vocals. So I got to split that up as best I can. I actually remember this moment here, I liked this for the vocals. So originally I cut to the vocals here. It's kind of lagging, but I remember I kind of liked that section, but because I was cutting from the drums to the vocals, I didn't really have a way to switch it up. So what I ended up doing, I had to move the vocals back to this section here and replace them instead with the bass part. So that way I could go from the drums to the bass, then to the vocals, then to the guitar, and then back to the drums. So it's a little bit like a puzzle sometimes trying to figure that out. But it's pretty easy to replace parts. So let's say we want to replace this bass with a guitar part. Remember, our guitar footage is in sync. So what I can do is I can select this guitar clip, make a copy of it, paste it, and drag it on top. And then I'm going to drag this over. Now don't just move it over like that because that's not in sync. You got to drag it over. And then if you want, you can drag it down, delete the other clip. You can see I got a little lazy at some points and I just kind of left it there, but it's whatever. So what's nice about this is this gives you the arrangement. It helps you know the best places to cut to. For instance, this section here, like we know we want to cut to the drums, but if I decide I don't like the performance or there's something wrong with the clip, I can go back to my other takes and find that section and drag it in and get it in sync. And it's pretty easy. You just kind of find the beginning of the beat and just cut there, line it up, and it's pretty easy to just drag it and correct it. You really just need the footage of each instrument first. It doesn't even have to be the best take. You just need the footage, and then you just need to cut it and figure out the arrangement first. Just know when you're cutting to the guitar, when you're cutting to the vocal. And then you can look at that footage and decide if that's the best take or not. And if it's not, well, at least you know what section you're looking for. You can go to the other takes and find better sections to replace it with. Now, you might have some extra clips, so here's where you can put in details. So let me demonstrate with the guitar solo here. So let's say I've got a guitar solo, and let's say I've got some shots that are more of a close-up on the hands. So I can go here, and I can look for that part of the solo. Now, here's what's kind of funny. I'm actually not playing the solo during the solo in the song. I'm just playing along with the backing track because I didn't want to have to keep starting it over, so I just kind of played it. So it sounds awful. Yeah, you can hear I'm playing the solo, but in the wrong section of the song. But that's okay because the timing is still the same. I'm going to cut like right to that squealy. So let me grab that, bring it in here. And let's look for the squealy on here. Yeah, right there. And maybe even listen for the drums. Yeah, right on that snare. That's a good place. Let's cut right there. And let's look for that same snare hit on this track right here. I'm going to cut down the volume on this. Yeah, right there. Yeah, somewhere around there. So let's get that in sync. All right, so that should line up. Yeah, sounds awful, but it lines up. And it's okay, because we're going to cut down the audio. So you turn it down, and now it looks just fine. And then again, you can just easily just cut at the end here, right there, and then pull it down, delete, bada bing, bada boom, it's in there. So I don't usually start at the beginning. I kind of just start in the middle, like where the instruments really start playing all together. And then I'll go to the beginning and the end and figure out what footage I want to use there. I shot this little intro of me putting on the tiara. So I was going to start with that and then have it fade in. So I got this close-up shot of me playing the guitar. And then we cut to the vocal. But to kind of smooth that out and kind of match the tone, we're going to add in some transitions here. So if you click on transitions, I use this cross blur one here, and you just click that and you drag it down. And I think I had set it to like 2.5 seconds or something. And so it just kind of transitions nicely into that section. And then same thing, it's kind of awkward just to cut right to the vocal, so I'll use another one right there. And you can tweak that and adjust that how you'd like. If you want to use more fades, you can. I kind of like to go with the cuts for the rest of the song, but it depends on the section. So that's the intro there. And then I also add a fade from black. So it starts black and then it fades into your footage. Now at the end, I've got it ending on me singing the last note. Then I just cut to the guitar to get that little slide there. And then I have my outro here. This is me just thanking people for watching the video. And I've actually got an instrumental version of the same songs. So I like to have the song playing while I'm thanking people for watching.
Thanks for watching my video. If you liked it, there's actually a button down there that you can click to like.
Now you want to make sure it's really quiet in the mix. You don't want it to be too loud because you want people to hear what you're saying. But yeah, that's kind of a nice treat. And you just have that fade out, and then you just have a little clip there to black. You can fade to black or cut to black, whatever you'd like. Easy way to just add a black screen. So you can click on titles here and just pick any one, drag it down, and then you just delete the text. Grab it, delete it, bam. And now you've got a section of black. So if you ever need to cut to black, that's a really simple way to do that. All right, so once you've got everything arranged, next you want to do color correction. So you just want to make sure everything flows. For example, the vocals were actually pretty well lit. I did have to correct them, but you can see it's pretty subtle. So here's before, and then here's after. So just a little more detail there. And then when it goes to the bass was just super dark. So watch the difference from the vocal to the bass. It's just kind of jarring because it's really dark. So I had to make some adjustments here. Yeah, and you can see it just brightens it up. So now the cut is a little less noticeable, and it's a much smoother transition. So you want to go through and just color correct everything, make sure it's kind of balanced. Now, once you correct that one shot of the bass, what you can do is you select that clip, and you can Command-C to copy. And then what you can do is you can pick all your other clips, and you're going to Command-click all of the other bass clips. I'm not going to go through all of this, but yeah, any bass clip, I would just select them all. And then you can come up here to Edit, Paste Adjustments, Paste Color Correction. So you just have to correct one frame, and then you can just copy and paste it on all the other ones. So that's a great way to just save time in doing that. And then last thing I like to do, once I've got the color correction, I may or may not add Ken burns. Ken burns are actually a really cool effect, especially if you're shooting on a tripod. If you're making videos by yourself, you can add a little bit more energy with a Ken burns. So a good example of this is this build up here. The original shot is just a tripod shot, just a static shot. And it looks fine, but just to add a little more energy, we can kind of accent that feeling of building up. So we're going to select the clip, and we click on the crop icon here, and we go to Ken burn. Now, I've already got this set in place. It's actually reversed, so it's starting wide, and then it's going to zoom in. It shows you where it's ending. It kind of crops the footage there. And during the duration of the clip, it's going to make that zoom. But to kind of give it the feeling of getting bigger and building, I'm going to swap these. So you just hit reverse. There we go. So it starts small, and then it gets big. So watch how that works. Now, I know that was kind of laggy. I think it's because I'm recording. But the problem with Ken burns is you got to be really subtle with them. If you do too much, they can be kind of cheesy. They really shouldn't be noticeable. So what I would do is I might drag this off to the side and make this crop a little bigger, and then drag it back into the center. Just try to get those little crosses lined up. There we go. So now it's much more subtle. Yeah, that looks a lot better. So it's not so obvious, but it's just enough to kind of give some energy. Now, you don't always have to go center out. You can go in. If I'm zooming in, it's nice to zoom in towards something. So you want to think like, where is the eye looking? So for the guitar here, I've actually got some Ken burns on here, and you can see I've got it starting big and then sort of zooming into this direction towards my hand where I'm playing. Same thing with this last note here. I'm starting zoomed in, and since it's like this long note that's holding out, I'm having it extend. So I start zoomed in, and then I have it draw out to the corners. One last tip about them, you want to make sure the clip is fairly lengthy, so about 4.5 seconds or longer those are good clips for kin burns. If you're cutting really quickly and it's just really short, 2-3 second clips, the kin burn's just not going to look really good in there. But if it's 4.5 seconds, 5 seconds around there or longer, usually a kin burn is a nice little tool to use. And you just kind of go with your feeling. Like even in this song, it starts off soft, so I don't really use the kin burns. And then as the energy's building, I'll kind of use them. And then the very last thing you want to do is just check your volume. So make sure you return the master track to its full volume. And then if you've got any extra clips like of you talking, make sure that's transitioning into and out of the track audio in a balanced sense. You don't want your track to be way louder. You don't want it to be like super quiet. You want it to be nice and balanced. So just get your volume levels checked. That's pretty much all there is to making a music video. Now, if you're wanting to shoot a music video with a bit more of a narrative to it, that's going to happen mostly in the pre-production phase. You're actually going to want to really plan that out and even shoot a draft version of the music video before you shoot the actual version of the music video. So what you want to do first is kind of write out your music video, kind of get your story, and try to plan out like where you want certain moments to happen. Like what's going to happen during the verse, what's happening in the chorus, second verse, bridge, all that stuff. And then what I did, I shot a narrative music video last year. I actually shot the whole video in one day, just in my house. Now the actual video has different locations. We shot at my friend's apartment, we shot at a restaurant, we shot outside, but for this, I just shot it all in the house because the location wasn't important. It was the timing. And I was just acting out the scenes and just kind of getting a sense of how they should fit in. And what I found out was that the song moves quickly. So a lot of these shots, when I started stitching them together, they just took too long to happen. Now, thankfully, there's a function here. If you click on this little turtle, you can actually speed up your footage and you can customize like how fast it's playing. That was helpful to speed up the clips and get them to the right timing for the music video. And that was super helpful for helping me know how many shots I could fit in, how quick those shots needed to be or how long they needed to be drug out, and also kind of getting a sense of where I could fit in the narrative and where I could fit in the band footage. So once you plan that out, that makes it so much easier when you actually go to shoot the video because you know exactly what you need and you're not just kind of guessing and figuring it out later. Then when you get to editing, you pretty much just use your draft version as sort of a template and you just copy that for your final version. So I hope that makes sense. So yeah, that's how you make a music video in iMovie. I hope that was helpful to you. Until next time.